This is Aanna Cologne, a 20-year-old woman who committed a crime so disturbing that her own parents turned her in. The interrogation you're about to see is one of the strangest in recent times.
And you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Okay? You understand each of those that I read to you? You're shaking your head, but is that a yes? You understand each of them?
Yeah, I'm just like remaining silent.
What she told the cops next would lead them to a horrifying discovery. On January 18, 2022, Aanna Cologne walked into the Portage Police Department escorted by her parents. As she sat in the booking area, officers were searching her, logging her belongings, taking down her information. To them, this was just another routine surrender, until one note changed everything.
Hi. Hi. I'm Craig Begeman. So Officer Reinhout, you guys kind of briefly talked and discussed everything that's going on. So what he's going to do is go up and try and make contact at the apartment up there and just see what's going on, because we want to make sure that everybody is okay at the very least, you know. And then we'll just kind of go from there, okay?
Okay.
And then I'll stay here and wait with you until he gives me a call and lets me know what's going
Yeah,
on.
you just want to make sure that the individual's fine, but
Yeah.
I'm hearing it's not good.
Okay. In what respect do you mean it's not good?
She said she didn't feel him breathing,
Did not. Okay.
like he was choking on it. I guess he was doing drugs or something and he choked on it, just choked on himself or something like that, but from her impression is that he's not alive.
Okay. All right.
That's why we came down.
Officer Reinhold didn't express that to me, so okay. Let me catch him before he goes, and we'll make sure. And then just stay right here, please.
As the officers processed Aanna's arrival, her father passed them a small handwritten note. It contained an address and a haunting message. Someone inside that home was in danger, or worse, already gone.
The moment Anna's parents turned her in sends chills down my spine. Imagine the heartbreak of realizing your child crossed a line so dark you can't protect them. That note they handed over wasn't just an address, but a cry for justice. Anna's calm demeanor as she walks into the station feels wrong, like she's detached from the horror she's caused. How does someone stay so composed after such a crime? It's unsettling and sets the stage for a case that only gets stranger.
Aanna walks into this interrogation calm, controlled, and oddly casual. It's not panic. It's not fear. It's something else. And as you'll see, it only gets stranger from here.
Hi, Anna. My name's Derek Hess. I'm a detective here at the police department. I work with Detective Tapey. Okay? You doing okay?
Trying to.
Okay. This water and the other bar is for you if you wanted something to drink. Okay. So I heard a little bit about something that had gone on, but I don't really know all the facts yet, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you. Are you from Kalamazoo? Did you go to high school here? Did you graduate high school? No. What level did you get to in school?
12.
Up to 12th grade? Just a little short of finishing up? Have you gone to any college at all?
No. I got accepted into KBCC.
Well, that's good. Well, hey, one of the things with my job is to kind of figure out the truth out of everything. That's what we do every day, is figure out what happened to stuff, you know, all across the city and in any different capacity as far as whatever it is. If something happened somewhere, we're tasked with figuring out what really happened. And one of the ways that we do that is talking to people. So I want to talk to you about what you've been up to lately. Okay. I see you got handcuffs on, and I know we're in a jail, so that changes things a little bit for me. Only that I have to read you some things before we can talk. Is that okay? All right. So it says you have the right to remain silent. And it says anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned, and you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Okay? You understand each of those that I read to you? You're shaking your head, but is that a yes? You understand each of them?
Yeah, I'm just like remaining silent.
Okay.
But then she speaks anyway. Not just a little, but a lot. This is classic impulse control failure. She knows she should stay quiet, but she can't help herself. Why? Because she believes she can talk her way out of this. In her mind, she's still in control.
Hey, Anna, you willing to talk to me or at least hear what I got to say?
I mean, I'll hear you out, but I don't know what we all said or whatever. But
Okay.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. All right. What happened last night?
Basically, he just got really violent. I think he was on some type of drug. He like was sitting down on a couch and he charged at me after I threw some water in his face
Why?
because he called me out my name and like kept on turning on stuff and like just he knew stuff that was getting under my skin basically. So anyway, I throw a little bit of water in his face and he like stands up and like that's when he just like loses everything. Like he just charges at me. He starts pulling my hair. My head is like all the way down here. And I start like trying to fight him back. And it was like the couch is like right here. And the door is right here. And there's a bed like right next to it. So it started initially from the couch. Like he charged at me. I landed on the bed, hit my head. And then he started to choke me out, and that's when I started fighting him back, like trying to like push him. So I pushed him successfully, like to the door, and he was like reaching for the chain, like trying to say I was hurting him. And I was like, "What do you mean I'm hurting you? Like what do you mean?" So just basically, just after that, like he just went ham and I blacked out and I couldn't breathe. I had like I choked like really fucking hard. Like I could feel like spit in the back of my throat. Like when he used both hands. Like so it just made me freak out. Like and then eventually he just stopped breathing. So I don't know, I felt like I don't know, it made me feel like almost empty. Like,
If you've noticed Deanna saying like every few seconds, you're not imagining it. She says it exactly 117 times during this interrogation. If you're wondering why this matters, it's because excessive filler words can sometimes indicate deception or discomfort. Filler words can be a way to stall for time, giving the brain a moment to craft the next sentence. Overuse of like makes statements sound casual and unstructured, even when they're rehearsed. It also helps soften the impact of what she's saying, making even the worst details sound less severe.
that's all I can really like say. And it just made me like sadder and sadder just looking at him. And then I ended up like just moving and, putting his favorite robe on him. Cause I felt bad. But like when I'm putting a situation like that. I had to do what I had to do.
Okay. Who's he?
I met him, I want to say, McDonald's. I was working as a cashier there for like a couple months ago. And he came through the drive-through and he ordered like a Big Mac or something. And I gave him my number, like on a receipt. And like we'd basically been hanging out and stuff. He always like would like admit these feelings to me and stuff, and I'd be like, just trying to be friends, you know, and stuff like that. And he just really just like over time you would see how he would just change. I don't know how to like describe it, but it's like he went from sweet to like sociopath. Like he just wanted me around him, and I was just staying there so that I could just like have a place to stay for my job and, you know, like kick it, hang out with him. He's like a lonely guy, so I was just like hanging out with him, and you know, and he just got crazier and crazier. And then I noticed, like, particularly within the past 3 days of hanging out with him, that he would do like this with his nose, like this, like just like he was off some type of drug. And he told me about like this scamming stuff and like promethazine and fake doctors and just like um just like getting prescriptions that he didn't need. So I don't know if it was a pill or if it was like a promethazine type thing or powder, whatever. I don't know about that. But
What's his name?
Man, it's like it's from like he's from Saudi Arabia, so it's like Maanalbowi or Blowi.
Listening to Anna spin her story, I can't shake the feeling she's playing a role. She paints herself as the victim, but her words feel rehearsed, almost calculated. The way she casually mentions throwing water and the fight escalating, it's like she's minimizing a murder. Her excessive likes and vague details scream deflection. It's hard not to wonder, is this self-defense or a carefully crafted lie? The detectives see through it, and so should we. This isn't just a story, it's a glimpse into a manipulative mind.
All the stuff that came after it. So.
As Aanna sat in the interrogation room, unbothered and unaware, investigators made a horrifying discovery. Maan Alboy's body. The medical examiner ruled it mechanical asphyxiation. His injuries, deep bruising to the neck, head, and upper body, lined up disturbingly well with the story Aanna would soon tell. But the real question remained, was she telling the full truth?
What kind of names did he call? Or were people being called?
He called me like a bitch, and I think really what it was that yesterday, his brother, like I would say 2 days ago, his brother and him took me for a ride. They took me to Myers, and this is when we went and got the cleaning supplies. But when we had went to the gas station, he ran inside without his brother. His brother's like driving the car, so his brother is like talking to me and a bit like being like, did he get any pussy from you and stuff like that? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, that's not even a factor. Like, so I was like, yeah, we're friends. We're not even dating or anything. And he was like, well, to be honest, I would have been cracked too. And I was like I felt kind of like offended.
What does that mean?
But I was
what he
just,
said?
like cracked you, like I would have been like put my dick in you, like type thing. I don't. So it just like threw me off, but like I was just kind of like, all right. I mean, I guess like laughed it off, I guess. So he comes back in the car and he's like, "What are you guys laughing at?" And I was like, um, I just like I was just I didn't want to say it in front of him, you know, like and just start something between them because they're brothers or whatever.
Mm.
But so I waited till we got back to the house, and when he asked me that, I was just like, it was nothing really, just like making some jokes or some shit. So when we got back to the house, we got into an argument because I needed a ride to go see my friend, and he was mad that I asked him if his friend could drive me to where I was for some gas money. And he was just like, why? Or like, why? And I was like, what do you mean why? Like, I just need a ride. And so he was like hesitant at first, and then he like opened up and was like, all right, I mean, I'll text him. So he texted him, and then basically he got mad because I had basically said the truth. So he was like, he was just like, we don't give a fuck anyway. We pass bitches around. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? You know, like, but I don't know, it just made me feel like out of place. And then I noticed like extremely like just weird patterns of behavior like after that. But yeah, and like that, I think really what set it off was either he was taking some drugs, and then just that situation on top of the drugs like just made him like act out of anger, and I don't think he was really paying mind to what he would say. Like he just seemed like off in the head, like he was just like laid back on the inside, but like just mean as hell on the outside. I don't know how to explain it.
You ever seen him like this before?
No, it was just like the past 3 days.
Throughout this interrogation, Aanna is crafting a very careful narrative. She's the calm, peace-loving person. He's the unstable, violent aggressor. This is textbook image management. If she frames herself as the victim, then suddenly her actions become justified, excusable. But the detectives aren't buying it, and neither should we. Throughout the interrogation, Aanna frames herself as the real victim. She paints Maan as a drug user, an unstable person, and a threat. She downplays her own involvement, making it sound like self-defense. She subtly distances herself from the crime, speaking vaguely and avoiding details. This is a classic attempt at image control, turning herself into the one who had no choice. But the more she talks, the more cracks start to show.
Did you see him do any drugs?
I didn't see him do any drugs. I saw him like smoke weed. Like he smokes like a ton of weed. Like just back to back to back. And I would tell him like, yo, I'm on probation. I can't, you know what I'm saying, be around that and stuff. And like he'll even get like so disrespectful, like he'll just blow it in my face, like, and just be disrespectful. So I will go try to open up the window, and he'll get mad at me for opening up the window. Like, and I'll be like, what do you expect? I'm not gonna like just sit in your face and then you're like smoking back to back. And I've only ever seen him use weed or cigarettes. Any other drugs besides that, no. And then promethazine, he was telling me a little bit about how he was like getting fake prescriptions from like doctors for promethazine. And he said like he lost his doctor and he was like pissed about it. I don't know what that was supposed to mean.
What did he do with their promethazine?
I think like he would like sold it like to some of his like family members, or like he just drank it. He was like, I love lean, which is what they call promethazine. So
Okay. Did you see him take promethazine, just like drink it?
I've never seen him take it, but he had like in the apartment there's like bottles, like I don't know if you guys like saw it when you went in there, but there's like bottles in like one of his suitcases. It's like maybe like 8, 9, or 10 bottles.
Aanna Cologne wasn't new to trouble. When she killed Maan Alboy, she was already on probation. In fact, this wasn't even her first act of violence. A repeat offender with a history of aggression, Aanna had already pleaded guilty to multiple charges before this incident. In 2021, she was convicted twice. On March 24, 2021, she attacked a man inside his home, repeatedly striking him in the head with a metal pipe. She later pleaded guilty to assault with a dangerous weapon and was sentenced to 44 days in jail. And in August 2021, she was arrested again, this time for resisting and obstructing a police officer. Though she was initially charged with domestic violence and another count of assaulting an officer, those charges were dropped in a plea deal. She served 5 days in jail. This wasn't an isolated act of violence. Cologne had a pattern, one that was escalating, and with Maan Alboy, it would reach its deadly peak.
So things are not going well at the apartment. What time do you think this all kind of kicked off, where he started getting mean last night?
I would say maybe like around 11:30 or 12.
Okay. How did it start? Just with the name calling and stuff that you talked about?
Just like when I asked him to turn down the music, and I just wanted some peace and quiet, because like sometimes I just get anxious, like when like too much is going on and then the violent music is playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I get like real fidgety, so I asked him to just turn it down or turn it off for a minute, and he was like, bitch, I'll do what I want in my house. Like, and I was just like, damn. So I got mad and I threw the water in his face, and that's what triggered everything. So
What's the next thing that happened?
what do you mean?
Like, what happened? You threw water in his face, and then what happened after that?
I just said what happened after that. He pulled me by my hair and charged at me.
Yeah, but I'm just looking for a little bit more detail.
He charged at me while he was sitting on the red couch.
Mm-hmm.
He was smoking a cigarette. He put out his cigarette after I threw the water on his face. And then he charged at me and tackled me onto the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he started pulling my hair. And then I like started fighting him back, and I like pushed him to the door, and he started grabbing the chain and like taking the chain off the door and shit. And then like he started doing this like around my neck.
Okay.
And then he like eventually like pushed me on the bed, and like he was like choking me, like I hit my head on the wall, like, and he was just like, I could not breathe. Like I felt myself like swallowing spit in the back of my throat.
Okay.
And it was like life or death at that point. So I was just like.
Anna's flat tone while describing choking Maan is haunting. There's no panic, no remorse, just control. She says it was life or death, but her actions tell a different story. Cleaning the apartment, hiding the body in a fuzzier place. That's not fear, that's calculation. I feel sick thinking about Maan's final moments, betrayed by someone he trusted. Her lack of emotion makes me question what she's capable of. This isn't self-defense, it's cold, deliberate, and terrifying.
Here's what's missing: emotion. She's describing a murder, yet her tone stays flat, controlled, almost rehearsed. Now, not everyone expresses guilt in the same way, but this isn't shock or denial. This is a total absence of remorse. If this is how she reacts after getting caught, imagine what she'd be like if she never had been turned in. That's the real nightmare. Aanna describes killing someone with the same tone you'd use to explain being late for work. She doesn't struggle to talk about it. There are no visible signs of distress, no struggle to find words. Instead, she sounds matter of fact, even relaxed at times.
Did you lose consciousness?
I was like, at one point in time, I'll say maybe for like 30 seconds, I just felt like my throat was like closing and like I just couldn't breathe. So I was like freaking out. I started like pulling his hair and then I like started choking him. And while he was choking me, I was just like, this is like beyond me. So
you don't think you lost consciousness?
I mean, that I lost consciousness or he lost consciousness?
You. While he was choking you, do you think you lost consciousness?
Yeah, because my throat was closing and I was just like, I could barely, like I started seeing colors and spit closing in the back of my throat. So I mean, some kind of unconsciousness was there. Like it was just a life-threatening situation.
Okay. So how did that make you feel when all that was going on?
It made me feel really angry. I don't know, like, why he was that violent, like, towards me. It just made me feel like, maybe, like, he just was acting sweet in the beginning, like, just to, like, try to get me over his house. And then, like, I noticed, like, within the past 3 days, like, how he was just, like sexually touching me and trying to lay with me and stuff. Which is like normal because like guys do that, you know. But I just feel like uncomfortable and like if I tell you to like keep backing off, like, cause I've been through a lot of stuff, you know. Like I don't like being in a type of situation where I feel like I'm uncomfortable. And he just like he would like test the boundaries, and then when he kissed me on the cheek and stuff, I just be like, I just want to kiss on the cheek. He'll like grab the back of my head like this and like just try to like force the kiss, and I'll be like, so I just like be like, no, you need to go over there. So, yeah.
Was he saying anything while this fight was going on?
He said like, help, she's trying to kill me or something. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, he charged at me and was choking me. And then when I fought back, he tried going to the door and taking off the chain. That's where that transpired.
What do you think he was trying to do when he was taking the chain off the door? Was he trying to leave or was he trying to do something else?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I just panicked, and then he started choking me. That's when he threw me on the bed, like trying to fight me off and stuff. And once he like started choking me, and like I couldn't breathe, and I felt my head hitting the back of the wall, like I was just like,
Okay. You said earlier that he went ham. And I think I know what that means, but I don't want to guess and put words in your mouth. So what does it mean when someone goes ham?
meaning like, what context was
You said he got angry at you and charged you, and then he went ham.
Ham as in like you could feel all the aggression, like with every move that he made. Like when he charged at me, I felt all the aggression and nerves in my body just be like.
So other stuff happens where you're seeing colors and and that sort of stuff, and then kind of what happens after that.
Just like, I don't really want to get like into the detail because it's like kind of traumatizing, like just seeing what I saw and stuff, and like I'll start getting emotional, like, so I really don't want to like talk about like what I saw, but I felt wrong afterwards, but I knew that it was a threatening situation. Like, I just,
Okay.
yeah, I don't
So
want to talk
you had
about
said
that.
at one point he had stopped breathing, and then you said something about a robe. You put him in his favorite robe.
Yeah, I had covered him up with his favorite robe and stuff. Like, I sat there for like an hour and a half, and I was just seeing like if he was gonna like, open his eyes or blink or show some kind of sign movement, and it never happened. So I was just like, I felt terrible, because it shouldn't have had to leave or get to that point. But it was just like,
What happened after that?
I put him in his favorite robe, and I took him off the bed and just like put him in a better place, like a fuzzier place.
A fuzzier place. That's how she describes hiding a dead body. Not the closet, not a corner, just fuzzier. Sounds childlike, like she's talking about moving a stuffed animal, not a human body. This level of detachment is disturbing, to say the least.
I put him in the closet. And he was like in love with his dad.
With his dad?
And he had like a chain that he would wear, and it had like his picture on it. And so I just placed it over his body.
What happened after that?
I sat there and I cleaned like the entire apartment.
I thought you were just cleaned the day before.
No, he bought the cleaning supplies, but they
okay.
weren't open or anything.
Okay.
I had like some wipes already in the house and stuff, so I just used that to like clean the other day, but
Gotcha.
before we got it.
So last night you said you cleaned the whole apartment?
Yes, I threw away cigarette butts and all of the excess trash that was spilled on the floor. He like knocked over a couple ashtrays, some candles, and I just like put it back all in place because like I felt bad for how it ended. So I just felt like, he let me stay in his home, so like I thought I would just like take care of just the apartment,
Okay.
Aanna claims it was self-defense. She says she blacked out while choking the victim. But let's break that down. If this was self-defense, why didn't she call 911? And if it was truly accidental, why does she sound more focused on defending herself than the fact that someone died? What she did instead was clean up the apartment right after, because apparently, after a fight for survival, the first instinct is to tidy up. This is what detectives call convenient memory gaps. She blacked out, but only for the part that makes her look guilty. This is not how self-defense cases usually play out. Genuine self-defense typically involves panic, immediate calls for help, and clear evidence of a struggle. Investigators weren't just looking for how Maan died. They were looking for why.
How long do you think that lasted that you were cleaning the apartment?
I would say maybe like 30 or 40 minutes.
Okay.
Like I just basically wiped tables down, just like cleaned or attempted to clean the bathroom. And then I just kind of like just sat there and cried and was just praying. So, because I didn't know what to do. Like, I'm like on probation and stuff. I don't want to like I was scared to call last night, and like I'm not used to like these situations or predicaments. So when it like just all transpired, it really hit me. Just like,
Did you reach out to anybody last night?
I reached out to a couple people, and I was like, I need you to pray over me and just pray for closure. And I texted my mom and dad good night. And it's just like I didn't want to like tell them like, hey, this happened tonight. And
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just got really emotional. And I just sat there and cried. And
Did you tell anybody last night what happened?
no.
After the murder, Aanna texted friends and family, asking them to pray for her. This frames her as someone going through a tragedy, not someone who caused it. It redirects sympathy onto her, making her seem like a victim of circumstance.
When even your own parents turn you in, that's a gut punch. Anna's family saw something so dangerous and earthy, couldn't stay silent. I can't imagine the pain they felt, choosing justice over loyalty. Her attempts to gain sympathy, texting friends to pray for her, feel like a final act of manipulation. The jury saw through it, and their verdict, life in prison's the only answer. This case leaves me angry, sad, and wondering how someone so young could go so wrong. Justice was served, but Maan's loss lingers.
Okay. How did you reach out to your parents to let them know?
I called them via phone and text message.
There's loyalty, and then there's reality. Even Aanna's own parents didn't stand by her. They knew something was deeply wrong, and instead of covering for her, they handed her straight to the police. Now, let's think about that for a second. Parents will do anything to protect their child. So if your own family turns you in, that says a lot. It means they believe you are truly dangerous. If even her parents couldn't justify her actions, what does that say about Aanna?
I'm just not, because you may have already answered the question. I'm curious, how long have you known him for?
This was back when I had my McDonald's job, so like, I'd say maybe like a month or two.
You've known him for a month or two?
A month or two.
Okay. And up until last night, how many nights in a row had you stayed with him at the apartment?
I'd say maybe like about a week.
Okay, you've been staying there about a week. Had you stayed overnight there before?
I like came over and like kicked it with him, and he would like drive me like places that I needed to go to stay and stuff.
Okay.
But he like I was basically like, just telling him like I had like when I had nowhere to go, Like, he would come pick me up, and I'd go over his house and we'd just kick it.
Okay.
And then it was just like the touchy-feely stuff and just kicking him off the bed.
And the touchy-feely stuff kind of came on as
It
the
just
time
got
you
more
knew him?
aggressive, like gradually. It was
Okay.
like just like it'll start with like a thigh touch
Yep.
or like a damn you look good and
Okay.
you know, stuff like that. And then when he'll be like, can I kiss you? And I'll be like, you can kiss me on the cheek. Cause like, I'm not gonna lie, like I noticed like his eyes were like yellow and stuff. So like I didn't want to lay down with him. And
Okay.
like I don't want to like judge anybody for that, you know?
Yeah.
Cause everybody goes through something in life. But I just noticed like he would like grab the back of, when I said that he would grab the back of my head and like kind of try to force the kiss, like, you know, come here.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't like stuff like that.
Sure.
Because I've been through traumatic
Okay.
and difficult experiences,
Okay.
like sexual trauma. And
How many times was he violent with you during the time you've known him?
I'd say maybe about like 3 times. I just noticed like when he'll start grinding his teeth and like just giving me these like weird looks, like he just hated me.
Okay.
And like he'll like blow his smoke in my face, like if I'm sitting like on the bed and stuff, like he'll come over in my space, like, or walk over me and be like all in my face, and I'll be like,
That's creepy, and I get where you're coming from.
It's
That
eerie.
It's eerie and kind of creepy. How many times did he ever put his hands on you when you didn't want his hands on you?
I would say, but like sexually or like
Just when I guess I'm trying to dial in on what I mean by violence. What I mean by violence, did he ever push you, strike you, choke you, hit you with an instrument? How many times was he violent? And please describe what you mean
He
by
never
violent.
hit me with an instrument.
Okay.
But he was like violent, like where he would choke me and pull my hair.
How many times in that time that you knew him did he ever pull your hair and choke you, or
I
separately?
would say maybe like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
And like I noticed like after he'll be like you're always texting all these guys and shit, and like just acting like a jealous, like
Okay.
overzealous, arrogant, like just
Okay.
I don't want to say it, but like dick,
Okay.
like just.
Let me ask you this, and I know this might be a hard question to ask, and I don't mean to have you relive it, but I'm trying to get an understanding of when his hands are on your neck, what is running through your mind at that time?
Like, I felt like, you know, like when somebody's like just like choking you and like you can like feel like your mind, like it just goes like black and like it's like I started seeing like white speckles,
Okay.
like in my brain.
Okay.
And it was like I was just losing breath and the banging on the wall. Then he like had me like this and he was standing over me, and that's when I started pulling his hair, and he already had a piece of my hair, keep in mind, but he had a piece of my hair and he had me down like this, and then he just started choking me, and that's when I was like, I grabbed the back of his head. I'm just like trying to like get him off of me. He's like, let go of me. I'm like, you're not letting go of me and stuff. And he just like started just going ham,
Okay.
in quotation marks.
When he's
Iana's version of the story changes constantly, sometimes in the same breath. She says Maan was dangerous, but she stayed with him. If she truly feared for her life, why stay in his apartment for days? Her excuse is convenience, but that doesn't align with someone who claims they were terrified. She says Maan was aggressive, but she controlled the fight. She claims she had no choice, but she also says she was able to hold him down, strangle him, and decide when to stop. That's not fear, it's control. When discussing the crime, she's the one suffering. Aanna talks about how hard this is for her, not about the fact that she kills someone. She even tries to gain, but by then it's too late. Her parents turned her in. The evidence is overwhelming, and no amount of like and I don't knows can change that now. A jury found Aanna Maria Cologne guilty of first-degree murder and the death of Maan Alboy, and she, at the age of 23, was sentenced to life in prison. Thank you for